My name is Beverly, also known as Don't Let Them Fool You Too on Instagram, and today I want to give you a pretty in-depth overview of the homeschool planner that I am using for the second year in a row. I really enjoy this planner and I just got my new one today, so I really did want to show you guys the inside of it before I start making notes in it and kind of messing it up, so to speak. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. You guys can follow me over on Instagram, subscribe if you like these more long form videos, and enjoy. This is the Sparrow Planner. I just happened to stumble upon it on Etsy one day and I decided I was going to give it a shot, and I'm really glad that I did. Came with this cute little clip this year. It did not have that last year, but this is the Sparrow Faith Home Planner. So I will say this is more of a faith-oriented planner. And I do have a couple that I will also be exploring that are not, so I can give you guys a review of those. But as of right now, this is the one I have found that I really do love. So we're gonna zoom in here. This is the cover page. It kind of talks about who made this, and then we get to put, your child's age, the grade. My 2-year-old's not in a grade, but I will track some of her progress on here because I'm just a person who likes to do that. And then it does have a Bible verse on every tabbed page. I think it's really lovely, but not everyone's gonna love that. So here, this is the plans tab. You have a section for your ideas and your goals. Then we have our year at a glance page. This starts over here in August as if it were like a real school year. There's some notes sections down here. And of course, it goes all the way to July right here. You can start it wherever. You can kind of lay out whatever you want. Now, this one calls these group subjects. A lot of homeschooling families call these family subjects, so you could use it for that. But basically, you're going to write in what your resource is, the number of lessons, the frequency, and the duration. And you have a space here for notes. And then this is also another section where you can write notes on your group subjects. Then we have for each child a student page where you can put a picture of them, their name, their age, their grade, the school year, and their interests, as well as the curriculums that you're going to be using. You can put the number of lessons, the frequency, as well as the duration, and your top goals. And then you go over to the next page, and this is still a student page where you can log their extracurricular activities as well as their groups and their co-ops, and some extra space here for additional note taking. And then it repeats itself for any additional children that you have. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections for 6 students. Then you have just a random note section here. And then we go to the next tab section. This is the months, and you can kind of map out your months here. And then each month has its own calendar, and you can do what I do, which is I actually fill in my calendar each day instead of try to pre-plan. So I plan backwards, as a lot of people call it. That is the method that has worked for me. Planning, the week in advance, or the Sunday before the week just does not work for me, and it actually makes me as a teacher feel kind of defeated when we do not get those things done. And I'll go in a little more detailed on how I plan backwards if you guys would like a video on that. But basically what I will do is I'll rip out a couple sheets from the workbooks that I have, and I'll put them in for the week, and I'll try to work through those pages throughout the week. What we don't get done, I move into the next week's folder, and then there's no stress off my back. What we do get done, I write in on these monthly sheets here, and they are also undated, so you can put the year here. There's also weeklies. This is the weekly tab. And every week has the weekly routine where you can write it here, whether that's, math, language arts, you do it by subject, or you do everything every day. You write it out however you'd like. And what I really love is there are currently 7 sections here, and I like to write in whatever the subject is that I teach. And so for us, it's like math, geography, language arts. There's a little bit of science, some handwriting, some art, and we're also doing coding for beginners this year. And I'm really excited for that. He's going into first grade, so he doesn't really need anything too crazy, but he's very hands-on and very engineer-minded. And I thought that would be something really cool to introduce to him this year. And yeah, it also has little check marks. So like I said, every day I will come in here and just write down what we did instead of trying to plan it out. Now you could use the month tab section to try to plan out your months, and then, you know, if you don't follow it, not be so crazy about it. I will come in on the weeks page and I will just write what we did. It works for me, and that's really what matters, but you're going to have to find a system that obviously works for you. And then there's a ton of these. It's all just the weeklies. And then we go into our next, and this is records. So you can do your family read alouds, which would be like your family reading list. And it has a section for book title, author, and how you guys would rate that book. Did your kids love it? Did they not? It goes 1 through 5. And I really enjoyed this because, you know, sometimes it's really nice to have something to pull out and be like, my kids really love this book. Maybe we got it from the library and they really loved it, so we want to purchase it for our library. It's a really great resource to go back and say, hey, my kids really love this book. I'm going to go ahead and purchase it for our library instead of, you know, only checking it out. So there's a few pages of group reading lists. And then on this side, there is a student reading list. You have a section here for their name, the book title, author, and the rating once again. And you can use this for whatever you read to any of your children. And there are quite a few pages of this. So I'll probably separate it between each child because my daughter really loves for me to read to her. And my son, he's starting to like it, but I do want to log that. Then we have a section here for our field trips, which I really love this because in homeschooling we do a ton of field trips. I consider those learning days, and you can put the date, the location, and any notes that you have. So that's really, really great. There's 2 pages for field trips, and then there's an attendance tracker. In my state, we actually are not required to keep attendance, so I don't really use this often, but you can track it if you want to. I might try it out this year just to see how many days we actually did it, but I feel like it would be kind of redundant because I am writing in my weekly section of the planner. But it is really nice tool to have, especially if like laws change or anything. You can go back and, you know, track it if you need to. So there's a few sheets of that for each child. And then this is kind of a DIY. This is the same page as this page, so I'm not even going to move it, but you can kind of do whatever you want here. I didn't see this last year. Maybe I just didn't get to it. Not really sure what I could use this for, honestly, but it could be used for many things. There's a few pages of that. And then the next section is just an additional section for note-taking, whatever you want to write in here. And that is the planner. Pretty basic, but also really well designed. I just really love the color scheme. You can use this as well for planning out, like highlighting the weeks that you're not going to be teaching, or any trips that you might have, birthdays, all of that. You can highlight and do whatever you need to there. That is the Sparrow Homeschool Planner, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because I had a lot of inquiring minds about it, and I haven't been able to put together a video for you. So this is the planner. I will link it in the bio. It is on Etsy. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful homeschool year.